All right, I'll probably try not to have this be too long because I've already talked enough on this site. I've got some stuff coming up this week. I'm trying to do two documentaries and whatnot. And I usually don't look in the creator tab anymore because a lot of times it has statistics and just various stuff that doesn't really serve my interest to look at, because I think when you start to do things just to get views, it a lot of times stifles the, I guess, productivity of what someone wants to do with their content. So I looked on my tab. I was actually at one point. This is why I said that YouTube is kind of like a yo-yo, where you just go back and forth in a little circle, like a revolving door. Fun fact: I actually went to a bar last night, and I almost wanted to record myself going through the revolving door that they had in there, where it's a circle and the little doors in between, and have the title like, "This is me on YouTube," just cycling back and forth. But I looked on the tab, and it had, I think it was -8 subs the last 28 days or whatever. And I mentioned before that when I'm on a website where I can name multiple people who don't upload for months, for weeks, hell, in some cases for years, and by virtue of the amount of views that they get on stuff, sometimes things they don't even make, they'll still have people that sub and sub and sub, even without any content. It'll be some of the craziest stuff you've ever seen, because you're over here racking your brain trying to figure out how the hell does this person who doesn't do anything get all these people to check them out? Like it doesn't make any sense. But I told you that when someone is a content creator, they pretty much get blamed for everything that happens to them on here. You have people who sometimes grow out of a topic. I've been interested in certain things that I'm no longer into, and they'll get blamed for, oh, you didn't make it entertaining enough. And I remember I actually had a person back when I was first not getting on YouTube, but getting into just doing regular stuff, who was like, I don't think the topics are interesting enough, and that's the reason. Like, wait a second, TYT has 4 million subs. Now they're dead subs, but they have 4 million, and a lot of these other news channels have millions. So the idea that if these topics were so boring, how the hell do people who speak about them ad nauseum get such a large gathering? And I had another person who said, "Oh, it's because you started years after they did." And I was like, that kind of is not really the case. If I can name another person who started a year after me, it's like 40 something plus. But again, they just love doing this. It's always the person who makes stuff that is the issue. And I had another person say, it's because you don't edit your stuff. If you edited and made it look as if it was more than just a webcam, you would be able to get more people. I was like, well, you can't edit a stream, first of all. But secondly, this week I actually tested that, where I did 3 uploads that were edited. They had a video of something of what I was talking about in there, and I would speak after it. Pretty much got the exact same 20, 30 views I would usually get. One case was a little bit higher, but the point is, it's not tantamount to actually being any bigger. And people still refuse to accept the fact that there are just some people on here who, no matter what they do, are going to stay in the same spot. But that when you're in a circumstance such as this, you can't allow the views to dictate if you want to continue doing it or not. Which is why I told people that they oftentimes will say that, thanks, CK. But they oftentimes will say that, you're being negative and people are turned off by negativity. Like, well, if it's reality based, so if I have a circumstance, I've mentioned this before when we were talking about the chick thing, if you got a guy who talks to 90 of them and gets turned down over and over, he's not exactly out of his mind to think that the next one's probably going to do the exact same thing. If you have a person who uploads crap every day, and they get 10 views every video or 20 or whatever, they're probably not out of their mind to think they're going to get the same amount the next day. Just saying. But again, that kind of basic logic is it's missing with people. And I had one person who, I believe it was the year before last, not even 10 minutes after I posted something, wrote some crazy comments about, No wonder you can't get with anyone. You are so negative. After I talked about having, certain number of subs and they don't actually watch the stuff. I said, look, every person that uploads on this website, unless they have this thing on private or unlisted, wants people to see it. You wouldn't put it on there if you didn't want someone to see it. Like, only in this Twilight Zone world can a person want to do something, or rather do what is expected of them on a platform and then get a critiqued or rebuked for wanting the same thing everybody else wants on here. I said before, one of the reasons I stopped doing daily streams is because I got tired of sitting in there for 30 minutes with one person. But maybe I should just only do it on Saturday and just for the rest of the week just upload stuff, because people, they're not checking this stuff out, and I don't get the point of me sitting here trying to plan out some period where I can squeeze in a stream if people aren't going to watch. Same thing with if I upload something. And back when uploads were just me sitting in front doing this, it's a lot easier to just save it, put it up there, whatever. But when I actually take the time to go and edit that and then sync the audio, it's not worth it. The only thing I can think of that I would remotely put that much effort into, regardless of views, is the show, because that actually has long-term lasting value after a week or two, whereas the news, a lot of times people will pretend it didn't even happen after a couple of days. That's one of the reasons I stopped doing chapter reviews for the super manga, because people, once the newest chapter is out, they don't go back and watch that. It sucks too, because I actually really like, because a lot of people that do those, they don't do season or arc reviews. So that's the closest you can get to an in-depth analysis of, the entire saga, or just whatever period of the work in question is being talked about. So it really sucks that, they're not supported in that capacity. But look, I'll probably cancel Sunday and Monday streams and just do streams on Saturday, because this is ridiculous. I've tried to work around people's schedules. I've tried to notify them when I plan on doing this stuff, and they just won't check it out. So I'll just say, screw it. I'll put more stuff up that's uploads, and we'll get rid of the interactions, because I don't need this.